Alright, let's do this. Sasha, bright and early, man. Double decker, another double dose. My amplified unit. Top of the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys are in the world. Salud. It's very early in the morning. But we're coming at you with another double-decker day, man. Just like yesterday. We're going to cover Monday Night Raw. Hour 1 was done last night live, man. Live reaction, live watch-along. And we did that right after we filmed our live stream, Amplified Live, from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we did that for well over an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours. Lots to talk about with the Triple H news. And more coming out about Vince McMahon and WWE in serious trouble. Go back on the channel, check that live stream out from yesterday's Amplified Live. We took a 2-hour hiatus, and we came back with hour number 1 of Monday Night Raw live. It's a little bit more of the same today, man. I'm going to hit you with the Monday Night Raw review for hour 2 and hour number 3. You hear that sound? My freshly brewed Tim Hortons Canadian coffee, eh? Is ready to be devoured, man. We're going to top that off in just a minute. The coffee bar is open, which means we about to get amplified. So I'm going to hit you with the last 2 hours of Raw from last night, because again, hour number 1 we did live. Hour 2, hour 3 we'll go over now, and then later today, because it's Tuesday, you're going to get an Amplified Live, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're able to, come back onto the channel this afternoon, man. BC will be live. It's like a Sports Center type show, but for pro wrestling. BC is your host, and we'll go over all the top news stories. It's going to be interesting to see the Monday Night Raw rating from last night. Lots of buzz in the community, in the industry, really, to see how Raw goes off. I mean, we all say the same thing, right? Don't expect change overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, is what BC likes to say. It's going to take time. SummerSlam was already pretty much put in place. But we all knew, man, we can't kid ourselves. We all knew that change had to be felt last night, right? You got to come out swinging right out of the gates, right? Any new regime knows that. You only get one shot, one chance at a good first impression. There's no second chances at that. So if you're a new regime especially, you come in and you make that presence felt. So we knew, even though you're not expecting drastic changes, you were expecting some big things last night. And justifiably so. Big things needed to be switched up on a dime. Snap of a finger, it has to happen, man. Blink of an eye. The problem with last night is we saw some glimpses of that, right? The brawls, there was a lot of them, and they were intense, physical, personal. The problem is they were in New York City, Madison Square Garden. Now, BC's telling you, I've lived in New York City long enough, we accept nothing less. So WWE knows when they come here, they have to intensify the brawls. They have to have a lot of them. They usually do that type of stuff when they come to New York, so I couldn't tell what was Triple H, what was the new regime, what was this new feel. Was it that, or was it just they were in New York, they were at Madison Square Garden, they knew they had to intensify a lot of brawls. Then I thought, there was no Dana Brooks 24/7 title. The Catering Crusaders were not chasing Dana around the ring 17 times, trying to meet their steps goal. But before I said, oh, that's changed, man. They ex-nayed the 24/7 title. That's what's needed. I was quickly reminded yet again, they're in Madison Square Garden. They're in New York. There's no way they're parading around Dana Brooke in that 24/7 title. In fact, Dana was on Main Event in a tag match against, I believe, Tamina and Carmella. Her tag partner, Dana Brooke's tag partner, unfortunately, Asuka. How sad is that? That Asuka is in Madison Square Garden, New York City. All that Asuka has given WWE over the years. And she's reduced to main event in New York, tagging with Dana Brooke. That's not even shade to Dana. It's unacceptable for Asuka. So it looks like it doesn't matter who's in charge at what point, at the beginning of the regime or not. Asuka was not getting anything better than main event last night. But back to the 24/7 title. I mean, that was a welcoming thing not to see that thing being chased around 17 times. But again, I don't know what was H and what was New York. So ironically, we're going to have to wait a few more days, the go-home show for SmackDown to SummerSlam. And then maybe we can gauge this more. Again, we're not expecting drastic change. But if you think BC is not accepting change every show going forward, then your standards are too low and you need to get up to BC standards, which are much higher. That's not even just having high expectations. That's just having high standards, right? You need to hit the ground running. Drastic change? No, that'll happen over time. I get it. But little changes have to happen immediately. Anything else is unacceptable. The company's been too bad for so long that you can't wait. Doesn't matter if SummerSlam is already in the books or not. You need to start the change process immediately. So we don't know what was New York and what was just a new regime coming in. We still don't know if Vince McMahon is running everything from behind the curtain like the great Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. We don't know. Is Triple H, Stephanie, Nick Khan, are they all just still the henchmen, the yes men, the gophers, the cronies of Vince McMahon? And when the dust settles, the smoke clears from this investigation, is Vince going to be there waiting to come right back out of retirement and right back at the helm? You know, this could all be smoke and mirrors still. We don't know. And being in New York City didn't really give BC any more of a clearer picture. Gotta be honest. But one thing that totally is just absurd that BC noticed last night, and it's ridiculous to see some of the community doing this. But I caught it, and it's nauseating when this happens. But it's mind over matter, right? Salute, first of all, to my amp unit as I make this Tim Hortons Canadian coffee. Not that I'm from Canada, but I gotta show the love. I heard so much things for years about Canadian coffee, Tim Hortons. So I said, I'm going to give this a try. It's actually not bad. I bought a whole fucking box of pods. So what a lot of the community did last night after hour number one, just 1 hour, man. After just 1 hour, everybody starts hooting and hollering about how they can feel the change. They felt the change. They said that everything was flowing better, right? The timing, maybe pacing, everything just felt different. And BC was like, is it cool if I just call major bullshit on that notion? Major bullshit. What are you talking about, dudes? Or dudettes. Could be females as well. But a lot of people, I think they just thought, okay, Triple H is in charge, in title, so he must be running everything. So I'm going to look at everything with rose-colored glasses, right? So we were getting the same thing we get every week in hour number one especially. In fact, hour number one was the worst hour of the three, I feel. But because everyone had these, even when they said changes are going to happen in a day, yada, yada, they still were thinking it's Triple H, this is going to be a banger. And so they started coming out with, man, everything feels different. That the timing and the flowing of the show is just impeccable. And BC's like, dude, what are you talking about? Guys, BC went, I was live for hour number one. Live. It was a live watch-along reaction. I went over hour number one with my amplified unit, and I was it was fucking atrocious. It took 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes of the show was Theory and Roman Reigns face to face. Paul Heyman did some talking. Roman did some talking. That was it, man. To sell you, me, all of us, on Brock Lesnar versus Roman, you know, the main event for SummerSlam. To sell us all on that, Austin Theory is being used to fill in. He's like a stand-in. You know, the movies, you have the superstar, and then you have the stand-in. So when they're just trying to set up the shot, the star can go to catering and take 5, while the stand-in literally just has to stand there and be the fucking idiot that's got to move everywhere the director tells him to move. Austin Theory was nothing more than the stand-in for Brock Lesnar. Theory should not be selling Lesnar and Roman. It took 20 minutes, and when it was said and done, nothing even happened. Usos walk by him. Theory hits Jay twice with the briefcase. Jay no-sells it. Looks like he was actually pissed off. Like maybe he wasn't even supposed to hit him with the briefcase. The thing looked weird. It took 20 minutes, and it had nothing to do with SummerSlam. Teasing in a cash-in. It took 20 minutes to say the same thing you've been saying for weeks, that you might cash in. The only line, the fun line of the whole 20-minute segment was when Roman said, "You need to analyze the situation. Your daddy's not here anymore." Or something like that. Your daddy's not here anymore. And then, of course, New York starts the "Who's Your Daddy" chant. And for those of you that don't know, that's a chant we started back in the day, many years ago, because the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees, and my Yankees, that's right, I own them. Okay, maybe not, but they're still my Yankees, man. That's how we talk in New York. It's always right? My Knicks, my Yankees. As if we own them. But we spanked Pedro in the Boston Red Sox, and when Pedro was asked in the press conference, "Why do the Yankees got your number?" It's just the Pedro said, "They're my daddy." And you can't do that in New York. So ever since when Pedro came in the Red Sox, we just start chanting, "Who's your daddy?" So when Roman said, "Your daddy's not here anymore," BC was live. I told you, here it comes the "Who's your daddy" chants. They're coming. And they came fucking hot and heavy. That was the best part of hour number 1. And then people started going, "Well, Triple H ain't playing around, man. Triple H told Roman to say that line." Damn. Do you honestly think that didn't come from Vince McMahon? Or is not completely approved by Vincent Kennedy McMahon? Do you think Triple H just told Roman to say that, never gave Vince a heads up? Do you really think Triple H and his track record standing up to Vince McMahon, which he's never done ever, do you think he's going to feed Roman that line and Vince has no fucking knowledge of it? Do you honestly think that happened? Stop it. Triple H did not just feed that line with no prior knowledge to Vince. I bet you, I would go as far as to say that was Vince McMahon's line. But it's the mind over matter. People wanted to believe that the hour number 1 was drastically different, right? Mind over matter. It's like if somebody is under the weather in your family, right? They're sick, they're under the weather, they're all types of fucking out of it. You start thinking that you have symptoms, right? My head, headache. Why is my arm fucking tingling? Why are my eyes glossy, right? You're completely fine, but you think that you feel things you don't. It's mind over matter. Your mind is playing tricks on reality. Same thing with Triple H, right? You know subconsciously and up front that Triple H is supposedly the new helm at the helm, and then all of a sudden you start thinking you're seeing things that you're not, right? So a little Austin Theory, Roman Reigns, 20-minute face-to-face that has nothing to do with anything. All of a sudden, wow, that was different. They started with a Logan Paul and Miz parking lot brawl. Listen, I love starting the show off in chaos, especially a parking lot brawl. Miz and Logan Paul in under 90 seconds. BC was still introducing my unit onto the channel for the live reaction watch-along, and when I looked at the screen, the brawl was already off. And again, Logan Paul and Miz. And then we go into the 20-minute Roman and Austin Theory segment. And then we just went into a bunch of SmackDown talent coming to Raw, man. Drew McIntyre takes on Theory. And that turns into a tag team match. A holla 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 playa. Teddy Long classic, right? Where we see that every week. It starts one-on-one. It leads to the fucking fuck finish DQ. Then it leads into a tag match. On top of that, brand split? What brand split? You got fucking Bobby Lashley tagging with Drew McIntyre, SmackDown talent. And then you got Theory tagging with Sheamus, SmackDown talent. Butch and Ridge Holland are causing shenanigans around ringside, both SmackDown talent. But nobody wants to call out all the bullshit. The DQ fuck finish, the singles match turning into a tag match, all the SmackDown talent on Raw for no reason. It's not like it's Survivor Series Saturday. It's SummerSlam. No reason for SmackDown to be there in attire having Raw matches. Nobody wanted to discuss all the bullshit because we made pretend that we were seeing change and feeling it, right? The wrestling matches are at least a little longer. It's the singles match, fuck DQ finish into the tag match. That was all of our number one, if you include the 20-minute Roman and Austin Theory fucking promo. That was our number one, guys. I was live with you. But, wow, we felt the change. It flowed better, right? Maybe not so much, but I'm the only one in this community that's going to call it like it is, man. Maybe it's because I get up so damn early, we cut these videos so damn early that there's no time for bullshit, and I don't even have enough time to come up with bullshit. So you're just going to get amplified truth. Hour number one, I was live with my audience. I was live with my amplified unit. We were calling it as it was happening, how it was just run-of-the-mill business as usual. Nothing was flowing better. Nothing was out of the norm. We started with the parking lot brawl. Okay. Could have been done a million times better. You could have fucking stuck with it and sold it so even BC, when I look at the screen, I could fucking see it. No. I introduce my audience, I look at the screen, and everyone's telling me I missed a brawl. I thought it was something important. It's Logan Paul and Miz, my audience tells me. I'm like, all right. Well, fuck, change is in the air. Salute, unit. And then we go to hour number two, hour number three, right? I mean, did we sense any fucking change? Again, it's not going to be all drastic or all in one day, but yeah, right from the beginning, every show going forward, do not give this company mulligans, guys. Don't give Triple H, Stephanie. Nobody deserves mulligans. This company needed to change 10 years ago. Okay? So every show, we should be seeing these little changes just keep building up, man, until finally we have a decent to good product. But every show, we should be building that equity. And it started last night. So you talk about hour number two now. And hour number three. That's what we're going to go over now. Because again, hour number one, we already went over last night. And again, guys, don't forget, later today, I will be live with you guys for Amplified Live every Monday, every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, BC Live, right here on the channel. We'll go over any after effects of Raw last night, any new information that comes out, the Raw rating we hope to have later live. So a lot to talk about later. But for hour number two, we get into a tag match between Rey Mysterio and Dominic versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest, Judgment Day. Now, if you guys did catch the live reaction watch along for hour number one last night, you know that we went into hour number two. I actually did I did a bonus 15 minutes because I wanted to see where they were going with this Rey Mysterio appreciation night, right? Aaliyah, Rey's daughter, was there, his wife, Aaliyah and Dominic's mother, a bunch of family members. Everybody was there. There was a big cake. Rey's middle of the ring. He's giving a speech. So BC said, "You know what?" I said, "Amplified unit, we're gonna stick together on this, and we're gonna stay live." Because I was really hoping there was a point to it, right? I mean, maybe Triple H fucking walked by the script and said, "Hey, you know what? Let's make this special." Maybe something happened to get away from the norm, right? But no, man, we were befuddled live. My amplified unit, BC, we were all collectively befuddled at what we witnessed. Ray's cutting this fucking speech. Balor comes from the crowd on one side. Damian comes from the other side of the crowd. They're closing in on the ring. And we go to commercial break. How is that realistic? Are you telling me that when we come back from break, there's going to be a stare-off? I said last night, are they going to eat Twinkies and play Twister during commercial? Are they going to sing Kumbaya? Are they going to play a game of Monopoly? Maybe a little bit of Yahtzee? Are they going to exchange baking tips? How to get the fucking cupcakes pristine and not have the frosting melt? You just wait 20 minutes after they come out of the oven before you put the frosting on it. And then the ref yells, "We're on, red light." What's happening here, right? This is what we were talking about. It was even worse. I ended the stream right there. I said, guys, I gave you the bonus. This is unrealistic. If we start this and they're all just in the ring together, that's just stupid. You don't go to commercial right as they're in closing on the ring. You want this to be a fucking one of those spontaneous, intense moments. And when you cut the commercial, it loses all seriousness. It just does. So I ended the stream there. When we came back, it wasn't even like they were just staring off and Judgment Day was going to cut a promo. They were in a wrestling match. Yet again, Judgment Day, Ray, and Dominic in another fucking match together. Oh, the change. It's in the air. PC, there wasn't going to be change last night, man. What are you talking about? You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's Rey Mysterio's. You just claimed, right, fucking hour number one, there's a difference. And then all of a sudden, don't expect change. Just kidding. This is Bruce Pritchard's script still. This is still Vince running this. Which is it, man? You know, everybody's talking out of their asses. Some of it's Triple H, some of it's not. BC's seeing the same show, just with a little bit of amplification because it's New York City, which is what they always try to do when they're in Madison Square Garden, not even just Barclays. When they're in MSG, they try to go a little top notch. But I saw a fucking match that we already fucking, and I'm like, really, dude, are we doing this? How long are we gonna do these for, man? And that's where I ended the stream. And when we came back, they were in action. So that's where we're picking off. My point is, that's where we're going to pick this off with that tag match. There's nothing to talk about here. This is just, it was not fun. It was brah. Come on, man. This is the best you had for Rey Mysterio Appreciation Night. He cuts a little speech with his whole family backstage, and then they cut the commercial. And when we come back, there's a tag match. Rey Mysterio pins Balor 1, 2, 3. Wow. At this point, no bullshit. BC was thinking Judgment Day is officially done. I'm not going to say buried because it's not like they can't come back. Balor is too damn good, and we hope the best for Damian Priest. It's still too young in his career to be saying that he's buried in any instance. But done. Done meaning it's going to take so much work to fix Balor and Priest as this unit known as Judgment Day. I literally, when Balor got pinned last night, BC said, they're done. They're just done. It's going to take so much work. And how are they not, right? I mean, nobody can disagree with that. They've been, ever since Edge left, their momentum died out. It didn't just stall, it died out. Then they weren't even used for a couple of weeks. And when they are, it's back to 50-50 booking, if not just collecting L's like Pac-Man. Balor just eats this so easily. But a little bit of saving grace here. They did a very good backstage segment where Ray and Dominic got backstage. They got with their family around the cake. Everybody is celebrating them. And Rhea Ripley shows up. Aaliyah, Ray's daughter, Dominic's sister, gets in front of Rhea Ripley's face. Now, just picture Rhea Ripley, a big badass son of a bitch, big badass woman, And little Aaliyah, who's got some spunk. I mean, this is Ray's daughter, but it's Aaliyah. But she got right in Rhea's face, and she just says, "Leave." And Rhea's like, "Get out of here, kid." Shoves Aaliyah's face right back into her family members. And this goats kind of Dominic and Ray to just back her out of the room. And it leads into an ambush with Damien and Balor. And there's a pretty cool powerbomb segment where Damien grabs Ray. They drag him near the lot, backstage. They drag him to a table, and Damien says, "Now let's get the party started," and powerbombs Ray through this table. I thought that was very well done. And while it didn't completely save Judgment Day from that horrific loss, it did save them from BC saying they're officially done, which is what I originally thought when Balor took that L. So I hope that makes sense, man. That little piece cut them just above water. They were about to go completely under, man. But they got right back up over that water line, man. And they're just straddling that line at this point. Man, do they need some good booking. They need Edge. We're hearing that there was travel issues, and that's why Edge didn't make it to Madison Square Garden. I think there was plenty of time, man. You jump on fucking horseback, get on a go-kart, take one of those fucking Vespas. They go about fucking 80 these days, no? Or those little scooters, man. You ever go around a campus, a university, these kids are riding around in fucking scooters that go 65 miles an hour, basically. Jump on that, man, from Canada, right? Grab yourself a fucking Tim Hortons, eh? And fucking come on down via scooter. But New York City is not that far from Canada, brah. He could have showed up. I think that they wanted to keep this dude off until either SummerSlam or after SummerSlam, but something doesn't make sense because we found out about these travel issues. This was during the live stream that BC found out about it, Amplified Live, which was earlier in the day. So there's just, it's unacceptable, man. Something more must be to the story, but man, Judgment Day, they got to be careful because if H is really in charge, this is the time where Balor needs to tap into those black and gold days and go up to H and be like, "Dude, can we talk? Because I'm this close from being buried, bro. Your old bastard of a father-in-law completely screwed me over. Can you help?" So that was segment 1 of hour number 2. The whole celebration was just for a match with the Judgment Day and then a post-match powerbomb through a table. And it was all under the guise of Ray Appreciation Night. I mean, that's the best you have planned for that? Moving on, we had Bianca Belair out next. She speaks for roughly 30 seconds before Becky Lynch hits the ring. In platform boots, by the way, that easily could have been mistaken for New York City skyscrapers. Not even joking, dude. I don't know what she was wearing, but so, these days, man, Becky Lynch's outfits have become they've taken on a life of their own. It's almost like, what is she really how is she gonna outdo herself next week? So she comes out in these platform shoes. If you've ever seen the band Kiss, you look at their boots. They're like platform boots, man, which means there's like 2 feet of just platform. That's what they're standing on. I mean, any taller and they'd be stilt walkers. You ever see those really tall fucking walkers on stilts? I mean, she was walking around in fucking 2-foot tall platform boots. They easily could have been mistaken as New York City skyscrapers, bro. I had to do a double take, a double look. Like, what the fuck? Only Becky, man. Bianca and Becky brawl for a couple of minutes. Pretty good brawl, too. Again, I'll say this. You could tell they were catering to my New York City audience by adding another level of chaos with these two, which we kind of saw throughout the night, whether it was Becky and Bianca, Logan Paul and Miz, which is what I'll get to, Seth Rollins and Riddle later in the night, which I'll get to. The intensity was at an uptick last night, but again, they usually try to do that at MSG. So I don't want to jump to any conclusions. We'll find out. We'll get a better picture of this feel of change come Friday night. We've seen them beat each other down so many times, Becky and Bianca, but last night did seem more personal, more physical, and just more intense. So, even though we've seen this match so many times, in fact, last year at SummerSlam in 26 seconds, I don't want to relive that. None of us do. And we just saw it at WrestleMania, actually, as well. So even though we've seen this match for so long, we've seen a build, we've seen a feud, they've told their story already, and this company is just, it's not creative enough to come up with something interesting. You know, they've already expended all of their resources in this feud. It's got to come to an end. Thankfully, it's in 4 nights. Saturday night, SummerSlam, we can finally end this. But at least this brawl, it was fun. At one point, Becky went over the top rope, but clung on to Bianca's braid, that long hair, and ripped Bianca over. They fucking tussle over the commentary table. Referees trying to break it up. So they definitely tried to cater to that New York City vibe, which is just chaos. I don't know why people think NYC is just known for chaos, by the way. Yes, we are fucking wild. But we're not just fucking barbaric, damn it. But hey, it makes for better television, you know what I mean? This is what I mean. If you take what we did in NYC last night with Raw and do more of that going forward, you're going to have a better show. That's what I mean. BC says it's the little things. A lot of the things that need to be changed, I don't think people realize. You just think BC's being overly negative, or I just like to complain, bitch, moan, rant. No, it's a lot of little things, man. And we could have a much better product, better shows, better company, which would make a better industry. It's a lot of the little things that need to be corrected, and that's why I say that there's no time to wait. New regime, old regime, middle regime, fake regime. Doesn't matter who or what. You know, it's the fucking it's the obvious changes that continue to be overlooked that drag this show into complete obscurity and a pit of misery for all of us that have to watch it. And I'm sure the talent that has to go out and perform the bullshit that is on the pages, that are changed and ripped up 20 times a day and minutes before the show. Hopefully that changes going forward. Hopefully that's one of the biggest changes for the talents. You know, consistency. There's a crazy concept. Anyway, I'm going into a fucking sigh rant. The little things, man. The little things. These brawls last night. It doesn't just have to be New York City. Alexa Bliss then defeats Doo-Doo Drop via the DDT. Okay. Alexa continues to pick up W's. That's great. Yet it continues to lead to nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean literally nothing. They have no direction whatsoever for Alexa Bliss. None. You say, well, BC, last night she said before her match that after SummerSlam, she's going for the title. So they're finally going to pull the trig. Don't hold your breath. That's all I got to tell you, man. Because up until this point, they have no direction. And even though she said she's going to go for the title after SummerSlam, don't be so sure that they actually have a plan set. I think they're just trying to calm everybody's fucking fears that Alexa Bliss has literally got nothing right now. At least they're letting her collect W's, but AJ Styles actually has a really good win-to-loss ratio as of late. And AJ Styles is another one where they just don't have anything for him. They have no direction. And that's almost criminal because he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. But for Alexa Bliss, I remember she was off WrestleMania, guys. She's off of SummerSlam. Some said patience, BC. They're just planning something big for her. Well, really? 4 months later, right, when she was off of Mania, everyone said patience, BC. Well, here we are 4 months later, and she's off of SummerSlam too. I mean, damn. What big plan do they have for her? It better include all of this time with Alexa Bliss and nothing for her, no direction, go out there, win meaningless matches, and maybe one day we'll come up with something. What big plan? It better include a monster truck that crushes everyone and then teleports to space, where Alexa wins the Space Crusader Championship. In a monster truck. That better be the big plan, or something of that epic stature. Because at this point, if Alexa Bliss isn't in space winning a Space Crusader Championship inside of a monster truck, BC is going to wonder why it took 6, 7, 8, 9+ months to do anything with Alexa. Copy and paste. Ditto for AJ Styles, by the way. Hour number 3 starts with Logan Paul's in-ring talk show, Impulsive, which was just Logan calling out The Miz, but gets the ultra-stunning, super sexy Maryse instead. Maryse comes down to the ring. Her and Paul go the next 2 minutes talking about the size of Miz's package. Triple H is in charge. Triple H, what can you give me, man? You got any good credibility? I know, man. That's still probably Vinnie Mac. And it could still remain Vinnie Mac throughout his entire retirement, man. But that was just, I was like, we're still doing the balls talk. Some of it's funny, though. It's good seeing Maryse. I will say that, man. Maryse is so beautiful, so stunningly sexy. And she's a good performer, man. I love her mannerisms. She's really good. You know, when she's on the mic, her mannerisms and everything, she really buys into it, you know, whether it's comedy or being serious. We've seen Maryse in so many different types of promos, especially when she was actually wrestling full-time, way back in the day. She's just natural at it. And she can go in the ring, you know? She can... It sucks that she... Yeah, it sucks that we don't see more Maryse, actually. Not just because she's beautiful. Again, I actually like her work. But Maryse and Logan Paul go back and forth, talking about Miz's package. Miz finally hits the ring. And after some verbal back and forth, which includes if men measure their grapefruits, we'll stick with Vince McMahon terminology. Do men measure their balls? And Maryse informs us of what the normal ball measurement is. And Miz comes in at above average, or as at least average. I forgot what she says. And then Logan says, who measures their balls? And that's what brings Miz out finally. I do! And New York does! I'm like, well, can't remember the last time we measured the fucking balls, but maybe we'll put that on the things to do list one day. Who knows? At this point, I don't know what we're doing, man. I was told changes are coming, but we're going to hold out the hope. But after that verbal back and forth, Tommaso Ciampa attacks Paul, which is what we've been seeing for weeks, so nothing different here either. Paul fights off the two pretty decently, actually. But the numbers game just proves to be too much, and the segment ends with Miz hitting the skull-crushing finale. So it's the same exact thing that we've been getting for weeks. Nothing different there, guys. This is the same. Tommaso jumps Paul. It's the only kind of build they have. So luckily for them, they did get the parking lot brawl at the beginning of the show because nothing else here was any different. Bro, we got a hilarious segment to BC anyway next. With one of my favorite tag teams in the world, the Usos. And so we're backstage, and the Street Profits and the Usos, they're screaming at one another backstage. I think like Kevin Patrick was maybe in the middle of them at one point. Maybe he stayed there for a while. I forgot how it was. And then Jeff Jarrett shows up in his referee shirt. Because, of course, Jeff Jarrett is going to be the special referee for the Usos Profits tag title match at SummerSlam in 4 nights. So Jarrett shows up in his referee shirt, and he tells Usos and Profits his exact words. Let me get them here. Keep the peace tonight. That's what he says. He tells Usos and Profits, keep the peace tonight, And I will be watching. So if not, I'm going to remember this come Saturday night. So if they're not keeping the peace, he's going to remember that for Saturday night. And then he walks off. Usos and Profits pick off where they left off. They pick up where they left off. They just start screaming at one another again. The Profits hit their verbal line. We want the smoke. And then there's a verbal retaliation by the Usos. Y'all the twos and we the ones. And they were just in each other. And I was enjoying that. Jarrett comes back. He walks back into frame, gets between them like he overheard them screaming again. And both teams just kind of shut up. They go silent and they look away like kids about to be reprimanded by their parents. They're looking away like, I didn't do anything. No. Jarrett's like, all right, that's what I thought. And then he walks off again for a second time. The Profits and the Usos stare at one another again, and they still continue to yell at each other, but in whispers. So they're like... Jey Uso is trying to hold back a laugh, man. You could tell Jay's about to crack up. Bro, it was funny. They start whispering, like, talking shit. Come on, bro. That popped BC, man. That definitely got a pop from BC, bro. That's not just because... That's not any bias because I'm high on the Usos, man. That was just funny. Yeah, I don't know, man. I had to mention that backstage segment. I don't always mention every fucking backstage segment. That one had to get a minute, man, because that was a legit LOL from BC, dude. Now, Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles is up next. I was just talking about Styles and No Direction. Well, this proves it even more. Dolph and Styles versus Alpha Academy. The match makes 0 sense and clearly was thrown together for no other purpose than to eat up some TV time. So BC says, okay, let's eat up TV time then. Right, let's just do that, because even without any proper build or any real purpose, this is actually an interesting tag match and could be damn good if you give them a solid 15 minutes. We're not asking you to give them the world or move mountains for them, but give them 15 minutes. We'll be on to this match. Instead, it was your typical WWE 5-minute fuckfest that they're known for, right? You got 4 good wrestlers in there, so let's give them 5 minutes. With Dolph pinning Chad Gable, so once again, a legit tag team in Alpha Academy gets dogged out for 2 dudes that are not even a team. I mean, it's bad enough Gable and Otis at one point were not a team and thrusted together under the lies that they were going to have something for them in a tag team division. A tag team division, by the way, that doesn't even really exist. And for the females, it's even worse. Somehow. So it just sucks seeing Alpha Academy just being dogged out again. And for what? Styles collects another W, but just like Alexa Bliss, it's all leading to what? There's no plan, no real direction. And now Styles is going to what? Be a tag team with Dolph Ziggler, putting this guy with Omos for nearly a year, holding Omos's hand so he becomes less green, because he's still fucking green, but so he becomes less green week after week, day after day, show after show. That was the best way to utilize AJ Styles, and the culminating feud ends when they turn on one another. Omos beats AJ Styles in less than 2 minutes, squashes him. Styles has never been the same since. Collects W's, but you wouldn't even know it. Doesn't feel like he's a winner. And then Dolph Ziggler, you brought this guy back. It looked like he was going to be in something meaningful with Austin Theory, and he's winning tag team matches over legit tag teams with Styles. I don't get this pairing. It's interesting because they're really good wrestlers, and that's where it ends. Dolph does not need to be in another tag team. We just saw this guy with Bobby Roode, and Roode needs to be on his own. Bring back the glorious one. And AJ Styles, we've already seen hold the hand of Omos. We don't need to see him in a tag team. Just because this time he doesn't have to hold the hand because it's Dolph doesn't make it any better. So no, I'm not happy with that at all. If you gave these 2 teams 15 minutes to rock out, maybe I'd be happier. But no, this is your standard 5-minute match from World Wrestling Entertainment, just like Doodoo Drop and Alexa Bliss. So people are talking about more wrestling last night. Was there? Go ahead and clock Alexa Bliss and Doodoo Drop's match. Clock Ziggler and Styles versus Alpha Academy. The longevity matches, what the fuck were they? It was the fuck DQ finish with a SmackDown talent, Drew in Theory, and then that turned in to a SmackDown Raw tag match. Of course, when we're begging for less time in a match, we get more. When we want to see more time in a match, we get less. Can't fucking win with these people. We can't win with these people. Everything's ass backwards in this company. Doesn't matter who the fucking regime is. Main event is Matt Riddle in the Street Profits versus the Bloodline. Profits come out suited up in my New York Knicks uniforms, man. I'd gladly trade anybody, and when BC says anybody, BC means anybody. I will trade anybody on that New York Knicks roster in exchange for Montez Ford. If we get Montez Ford, I don't even know if this guy plays a lick of fucking ball, but something tells me my Knicks would be drastically better. Maybe we'd have a winning season. The match itself was a 6-man schma. I mean, the main thing I get from this match was the fucking Street Profits were dressed as New York Knicks players. That's the best part of the match. It was a 6-man schmaz. I can't stand 6-man tags. This was at least entertaining for the most part, though. Montez was busted open, looked like he broke his nose. When they went back and showed a replay of where it may have happened, it was Roman thrusting Montez into the turnbuckle face first. Looked like he went nose right into that buckle, man. And after that, he was pretty much just kind of busted up. Before they went to a commercial, they actually showed a close-up, and then they probably got reprimanded by USA Network, or they knew they shouldn't have done that, and then when we came back, you could see it was less bloody. They obviously made him wipe it all off, be a little less. They wanted that one shot, and then they were like, all right, that's done. We ain't trying to fucking overstep our PG boundaries. The finish was good. I mean, a lot of people that just don't like Roman at all, you're not going to like the finish for sure, but there was no way that Roman was going to lose this 5 nights before SummerSlam. But the finish saw Riddle go for an RKO, but Roman catches him mid-air, and he kind of just literally holds him in mid-air. So picture that, an RKO position mid-air, and Roman catches him and just holds him there for a few seconds. And then he just chucks him, catapults him, flings him like a frisbee across the ring. And then he sets up for the Roman Spear. 1, 2, 3. Riddle eats the L to Roman Reigns yet again. And then Seth Rollins hits the ring post-match, destroys an already defeated Riddle, even delivering a stomp onto Riddle into the steel steps. So Rollins had steel steps set up outside. And they were already fucking jumbled up because Dawkins went through the fucking steps. I mean, this guy hit it like a fucking tank, man. So the steps just fucking imploded. So they were already kind of jumbled up. So Rollins takes Riddle over their post-match and puts him in between one of the fucking slot part of the steps, puts his head there, and he fucking stomps him into it. So I did think it was pretty badass. And then the show ended. So, I mean, Riddle and Rollins are going to face each other at SummerSlam, so they had to do something. And they had Rollins end the I didn't mind that. I mean, Riddle took a double fucking ass whooping. Kind of like Theory last night, right? Theory loses the match, taps out to Lashley, because he was distracted by Dolph, who was just on his phone watching BC's live stream last night, our number 1 live reaction. Dolph was leaning against the commentary table, I saw the footage, man. He's got BC on the fucking phone, and fucking Theory just stops what he was doing. So he taps out, and then after Theory loses, he goes to the top of the ramp where he gets a double super kick by the Usos. Last night, Riddle loses a match, and then he gets stomped. So it was not a good night for the fresh new talent of WWE. So you can tell that Triple H wasn't involved too much. And again, Asuka, people like Asuka were on fucking WWE main event where I think Ali was still as well. So that's hour number 2, hour number 3, guys. So my conclusion on this, right, as we approach an hour in this review, which is around the time that I wanted to spend on this, because again, later, Amplified Live, I'll be back with you guys live. In conclusion, we don't really know if we saw the beginning of change last night. Again, it's not all going to happen, especially not drastically, but not a lot on night 1, not even week 1. I'm not giving you month 1. By the end of month 1, we better see some drastic changes, bro. I don't know what. Some people are like, it's going to take a year, but after a year, we're going to notice change. No, fuck that. Fuck you, bro. I ain't waiting no fucking year. I waited 10. I waited fucking 10 years. You come in running. You come in ready to rock or don't take the position. There is no waiting a year, guys. Stop. Stop right now. Last night had to be the beginning of change. We don't really know if we saw the seeds planted because they were in New York City's Madison Square Garden. They always kind of uptick the brawls, the ass whoopings. The intensity is always upticked a little bit when they're in MSG. So I can't really tell what was what. Friday night, that's my indication here. Friday night, we're going to get a much clearer picture on if we're seeing the seeds planted for change. But we can't really tell last night. Again, mind over matter. There's a lot of people that are calling out where Triple H created change. Oh, right there, that was Triple H. Oh, that was Triple H. And then when it was shitty, oh, that was Bruce and Vince. Right there, that's Bruce and Vince. Come on, man, stop. Stop. Tell me we're not playing that game for the next fucking month, 2 months, 3 months. Tell me we're not doing that. If I'm H and I just got that fucking job, I'm not putting one thing out there that is trash because my name is now attached to it. That's what I mean. As Randy Orton said, H's balls are in Stephanie's purse. Now is the time. It's not shade. I want H to fucking rule this fucking kingdom. So what has to happen is H needs to grab his balls out of Stephanie's purse and start standing up to Vince. I hope he's healthy enough to do it, first of all. He's got 2 titles. Head of Talent Relations, Head of Creative. But don't take it if you don't think you can rock. Or, I have to ask this question. I'm going to ask the same thing I asked yesterday. Is the titles just smoke and mirrors anyway? Is Vince McMahon running this motherfucker from his home? He was probably backstage last night. And he's probably going to stay backstage for the next month. Unless some investigative report comes out that's really going to be fucking wabaka this dude and he's going to have to stay home. We're hearing there's a HBO Real Sports segment that's going to air in the next coming week. It's a Vince McMahon story, and it's supposed to fucking be, it's going to level Vince McMahon in WWE, so that's probably helped Vince McMahon's retirement fucking announcement. But don't be shocked if months from now we find out that Vince is still leading this thing from his couch. Or maybe he's backstage, hidden in Kevin Dunn's production truck, like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Vince and Kevin Dunn are back there. Seeing what kind of fucking shitty show they could produce. Meanwhile, Triple H's name with Stephanie is attached to it. We don't know yet. They were in New York. So I can't get a good fucking grasp. What I did see was a lot of the same old shit. Rome wasn't built in a day. Change isn't going to happen overnight. I get it. But what you saw last night, we got to get away from all of that. All of that. The short matches that we saw. The rematches. The shit that leads to nothing and is done for no reason. Over time, They're still little. They're not huge. Those are all little things. But they mean so much. They become so big. They become so illuminating because you haven't addressed it for so many years. So the problem just gets bigger and bigger and bigger because you don't address it. I still saw a shitload of that last night. So, mind over matter, right? Because people know that H has those titles. People were trying to find more good from this show than was there. Listen, the good last night was the brawls were a little more intense. There was more of them, more physical, more personal, yes. But that's Madison Square Garden shows. The one line from Roman to Theory, which again was either from Vince McMahon himself or absolutely approved and probably got a good old fucking chuckle and laugh out of the old bastard. That was the show. Everything else, business as usual. The same old WWE RAW, but there's people going, it was a different feel last night. The flow and the pacing and the timing and the overall feeling of it. Man, I don't know what you guys were feeling. I mean, I went over live, hour number 1. My amplified unit in BC was seeing the same show. We'll go into Friday. We'll see, man. It's an ongoing... I'm seriously curious. I'm curious to see how much they're going to give Triple H and Stephanie the ball. Are they even going to have the ball? If H gets the ball, is he going to know what to do with it and not cave like what happened in NXT with the black and gold? Before McMahon even took control, Triple H took his eye off the ball, paid too much attention to Tony Khan, and it was Triple H that started to fail. And that's when Vince McMahon had to come in, his father-in-law. He was already losing money. He was just going to lose even more. He said, dude, that's it. So will Triple H handle that ball properly? You have to say it's going to be better than Vince at least. Or does he take that ball and put it in Stephanie's purse? How many balls can Stephanie's purse hold? All these questions that BC has. Hopefully more gets answered Friday night SmackDown. Again, we don't expect drastic, huge changes up front on day 1 or week 1 or month 1. But every show, we better be getting changes. We better notice them. We'll get a better indication Friday night. Again, that is the go-home show to SummerSlam, guys. From right now, it's 4 nights away. Believe that. The next WWE show, we will be 24 hours away from SummerSlam. I hope to be live with you guys during SummerSlam for a live watch-along, live reaction, live good, the bad, and the ugly review. That would be badass. So I'm going to try to do that. And speaking of live, again, BC will be talking to you guys in just a few hours. Live, right here on this channel, amplified live, 3 to 4 p.m.-ish Eastern Time. So if you guys are free later this afternoon, make sure you stop by the channel. We'll talk the Raw rating. It'll be interesting to see what they pulled. A lot of buzz for this show. So we'll talk the Raw rating, any news coming out of Raw, the latest on Vince and Triple H, and everything in the wacky world of pro wrestling, man. For now, BC's going to finish this Tim Hortons. Gather what I need together. And we got to do some things out in the world, man, which will consist of even more coffee and more ass whoopings. BC, the Amplified Man, top guy. And I'm fucking out. Until next time, which is in a few hours. Check you later. Think, be, fucking live amplified. Check you. Let me give a proper salute. Proper salute. Amp unit. Go whoop some fucking ass. Come back later today. Check you.